What's up, guys? Ben Pollock here with Rob Pasta. He's the owner of bigtexgym. As I move into my off season, I'm really lucky to have these guys supporting me. Bigtex, if you guys haven't already noticed from my Instagram, probably the most hardcore gym in Texas, if not the whole country, right? Top 10 on bodybuilding.com. Like,
it was
an awesome gym for bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman. And there's just so many awesome people here from all three different fields, and you can really learn a lot. So I'm trying to share some of that as part of my INTENTsity series, right? We're talking about intensity with intent, where, you know, we're going hard, but we're being smart about it. And to kick things off, I'd like to talk about diet with Rob, who, as you guys can probably tell by his physique, is pretty much a diet expert. So before we get into any of the good details, Rob, can you tell us what you've eaten so far today?
Yes, that's a long list, so it's going to take a while.
That's okay. Let's go.
All right. I started my morning with a dozen eggs.
It's already more calories than my diet.
After that, I finished off with 4 croissants that I baked in the oven, a pound of bacon. And my diet is a little bit different than most because I consider myself a true hard gainer. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a hard gainer, but if you don't consume 3,500 calories per meal like I do, then you're probably not a hard gainer. Anyways, so I did that. Then I ate about 4 cups of fruit, different fruits, plums, oranges, grapes, blueberries, blackberries, peaches. Just mix it all up, and then I like to eat a watermelon after that. Small personal watermelon, not a whole big one.
Of course, of course.
And then I wait about an hour and a half, and then I'll eat like turkey breast. I start cleaning it up after that big meal in the morning, clean it up afterwards. White rice, jasmine. After that, I did turkey ground with white rice jasmine. And then I kind of splurged a little bit. I ate about, let me see, I'm trying to remember, I think it was a pound of lasagna.
Jesus Christ.
And then I had lunch.
I'm going to stop you right now because I think they get the idea. So a couple things there I want to touch on. The first is, I think a lot of people get this idea that they want to be freaks, and so they have to just go out and eat a bunch of crap. But when we're talking about intensity with intent, like, most of that was pretty clean food. Like, you had some croissants in there. You said you splurged a little bit with lasagna or whatever. But the flip side of that is you need those calories. You're a true hard gainer, like you said. So remind me of your weight before you started bodybuilding.
185.
185 at what height?
I was 6'3".
Okay, and what are you right now?
I'm 6'3" at 306.
So you've gained 130 pounds since you started, something like that? And what's your goal?
So my complete goal was 430.
430, fucking ridiculous. But you are a bodybuilder, right? Like, you're concerned with how you look, not so much how, like, obviously how you perform in the gym is part of that, but not all of it.
Mostly it's my size.
Okay.
You know, I do a little bit of power building, mostly focused on size.
So for me, it's a little bit different, right? Because I'm very concerned about my performance, and while I could just bulk up like crazy, right, and try to get to 242 or whatever, 275 even, I think it would really screw my leverages because I'm not 6'3", right? Like, I'm 5'8", and so trying to put all that mass on my size, while it might be great for bodybuilding and that might be the only way I can actually break into the bodybuilding world, it's not really ideal for powerlifting.
Agreed.
So it's kind of a balance there. Now, do you mind talking about how you kind of eat all that much food? Because I think for a lot of people, myself included, one of the difficulties is just forcing all that food down. And you've talked with me before about some of the peptides that you use to kind of assist in that. Are you cool with discussing that?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and actually we can get into that too. I'm prescribed most of my peptides, so I don't just,
Of course, right? Totally legal. You get them through Natural Biohealth if you want to.
Yeah, yes.
You guys,
exactly.
If you're in the Austin area, definitely check them out. They're a great company, and they really care about, you know, your health and overall well-being, not necessarily what's kosher or whatever, but
exactly, more along the lines of making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be, completely, even for athletes, you know, and they're able to pay attention to athletes versus where most of them are just like, I think I know what I'm doing.
Exactly, right? Like, man, you pass med
absolutely.
school, people think you know it all, but not always the case. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to retouch on something, when I said I ate the lasagna, so I do eat clean. I home make my lasagna, and it's vegetable noodles. So it goes with that.
That sounds disgusting.
It actually tastes almost the same as the other. The noodles are made out of vegetables.
I don't believe
but
it.
I buy them like that. But it's it's not bad. But yeah, I'm not gonna say it tastes great. It's ground turkey for the meat mixed with bison and other things like that I'll grind up and put in there with it. The cheese is going to be cottage cheese and things like that. So it's not necessarily like your best tasting lasagna, but it's going to be on the healthy side because I do want a calorie dense meal, but I want all my meals to be more like healthy side calories, so I'm not bloated bodybuilder versus,
of course,
everything else. But sorry,
I'm also actually a big believer in that. I eat quite a bit of vegetables, and I prescribe this to my my athletes too, the ones who want diet advice. I push vegetables pretty hard, and I think a lot of people, especially when they're trying to gain weight, are like, I don't want to fill my belly with broccoli, bro. But the truth is, you get that fiber in your system. It's going to help your digestion. It's going to help you eat more. It can lead to a little bit of like temporary bloating, but in the long term, when you're ready to lean out, when you're ready to get on stage, when you're ready to cut weight for meat, you reduce that food volume, and it can make a really big difference really quickly. So it's like another tool that you have in your arsenal in order to reach your goals.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you asking the question, answering your question about how do I eat all that food and stuff. I think a lot of people have the misconception of, okay, and they just run right into it. They listen to somebody and they're like, oh shit, he eats all this food, so let me go eat all this food. And they start trying to pile all this in. They can't eat it. Two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get sick, and the other, you're not going to digest the food. So nothing's going to happen. Your body's going to start putting on a ton of fat because it can't process it. You have to teach the body how to ingest this. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to eat 10,000 calories. I'm sure a lot of people don't do that. You know what I mean? True athletes are like, we're going to take it just like you're training in phases. You're going to start with phase 1. Whatever you're doing, you're just going to turn it into the proper plan first. And then after you've adjusted to a disciplined diet, then I start to add in 25 grams of protein a week, 25 grams of carbs a week, 25 grams of whatever a week. And then I start adding probiotics, prebiotics, those kind of things. Once I've reached my limit as far as what I can ingest, then I start bringing in the peptides.
Okay.
A lot of people use peptides for different reasons. For me personally, it's the hunger. You're not going to be hungry after you've consumed what you need to consume. So for me, I have to do it. There's no other way. You're not going to be 430 pounds. You know what I mean? I guess I correct me. There are people out there who have that appetite.
Sure.
Me.
Few and far between.
Exactly. I don't. Once I've reached 6,000 calories, I'm full. At that point, I hate food. My diet would be the best thing that could ever happen to me,
So what specific peptides do you use to kind of work through that?
So I had a 3 blend. I started using GHRP6 at first. I thought it was amazing. I did pretty much about 100 micrograms of it, and I would do that 3 times a day. And then I realized that I could get even better benefits by adding a couple different things into that, which would actually not only make a larger release of ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Am I pronouncing that wrong for all you guys out there who like to correct people? Whatever. At
least you can hear us this time, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. But I also found adding Samorelin and GHRNH, basically, with my GHRP6 together in a tri-blend, allows me to extend the hunger for about 2 hours.
Okay.
So in that 2 hours, I easily consume 3,000 calories, and then another hour later, I'm already hungry again.
So how do you time those around meals? Is that before or after you eat?
Before.
Okay.
Always before. And then what I do is I do try to wait 20 to 30 minutes. A lot of people have put this out there saying if you use peptides for GH release, you're not going to get the proper GH release if you add carbs in. That's true, but if you actually go and check the science behind it, you're only restricting 15% of your GH release.
Which is a pretty small amount.
It's a super small amount in the grand gist of things.
Do you find that you notice an increased recovery benefit on top of what you would get from that additional food intake?
Absolutely. Although I think here's what I've learned over the last 20 years. I think it's people-based.
Oh, absolutely.
So there are people who are born and their bodies don't really release as much HGH as others would. So those who are typically naturally releasing more HGH, well, obviously an HGH secretor is going to cause that to release more. However, some people who don't have that naturally, well, you're not going to naturally be able to secrete more with even something that's going to cause it to secrete. It's just the way it is. So there's those people like, that doesn't work, blah, 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 that's because it didn't work for you.
Right. Exactly. Well, cool, man. I think that's a really good intro. I think as we go, I'm sure people are going to have questions. Maybe we can get more into detail on some of these things.
Absolutely.
But I think that's pretty awesome. It was a pretty good start. Kind of show you guys the meaning, right, of intensity with intent. It can get really, really intense, even though you have this goal, you have this process, and it's really thoughtfully planned out. I think that's really crucial, because otherwise, like Rob said, you're gonna end up a fat ass, or you're just gonna stay small forever. So guys, if you do want diet advice from Rob, you are available as an online diet coach. Can you tell people where to reach you?
Yeah, just hit me up, email me at bigtexgym@gmail.com.
And I'll put that in the description below. Right now, I'm pretty full. I'm not really taking people for nutrition clients, but I do highly recommend that you go with Rob. And obviously, I'll put my programs below as always. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to put links to Big Tex below, so if people are in the area and want to stop by, they can hit us up. And again, if you guys have questions, please leave them in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys watching.
Thank you, guys.